Welcome to Old Guy Tech,
the OGT.TV recording studio.
Technology for the rest of us.
Hi, I'm Rob Charney, Old Guy Tech TV, and this is our roundtable discussion with James Stevens and Jonathan Charney. And we haven't done one of these for a little while, and this is always fun. This is where we just get together and kind of goof around and talk about some silly stories that we see on the internet, and we just want to share with you guys and just have a good time. So this is just pure entertainment, so enjoy yourself on this one. So what do you guys want to do? Who wants to do the story first?
My stories are normally the worst, I'll do mine.
Your stories are normally the worst. Okay, so
they are.
Truth comes out.
So we know that Jonathan has the worst stories.
This is what, this story, should perfect called And The.
Okay, go ahead. You tell us the story.
And the what?
On Tuesday, for the second time in 2 days, police were investigating the vandalism at a Northwest Orlacia house from which numerous items were taken.
A what house?
It's OCLA. It's in Florida.
Okla.
That was close.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okla house from which numerous items were taken, including the kitchen sink. And
they took everything, including the kitchen
exactly.
sink. I love it. The cliche comes
like
true,
a foreclosed house or something? What was
it says, on Monday, the owner of a rental property reported that someone had broken into the house on Northwest 16th Terrace, stolen several items, and ripped out the kitchen sink, severing water lines, and flooded the building. The next day, an employee in charge of security from Keller Williams Realty told a police officer about it. Basically, they destroyed everything, including the kitchen sink.
So what was the kitchen sink made out of? Why would they steal it?
Well, not only that,
it's not a precious metal.
Was this an occupied home?
No, it was a rental.
It was a rental, so it was empty. So there's nobody there. So they probably had plenty of time.
It says that the police had determined police had not determined if the burglaries during the plants were stolen or destroyed by having copper removed are related.
Yeah, more than likely. I did a story today on the news, and if you poor people heard my news today, I'm sorry. I stumbled over my tongue all day. But Herbert Green, our elementary school right down the street from us, was vandalized during the spring break, and they said about $9,000 worth of damage. Yeah.
Wow.
Just try and get the copper because it's worth so much now.
And I thought the And The was the perfect title.
Including the kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. That was a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they take the plumbing pipe? I mean, that's usually
they sounded like they did, but I don't know why they just wouldn't take that instead of the...
Maybe they couldn't get the pipe removed from the kitchen sink, and that's why they took it.
That's pretty heavy just for some little bit of copper.
Well, I mean,
but usually plastic,
desperate.
That's usually plastic, isn't it?
They usually have plastic piping connected up to the kitchen sink.
Usually water lines, hot and cold water lines, are copper.
Yeah, but...
Now, some states allow plastic, but most of the time it is copper. There's a lot of copper in a home.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in the walls.
Yeah.
I still think it's funny they took the kitchen sink.
Wow. Well, James is right. Maybe, well, even if it was a stainless sink, it's not worth anything as far as that goes. Exactly. I don't know.
Maybe they were remodeling and they needed a new sink.
Maybe it's a really old home and the kitchen sink was actually made out of something worth it.
Like what?
I don't know.
Come on, you're old. Think of it.
It sounds to me like they just wanted to take whatever they wanted to take, and they were going to take everything, and they probably had a few days to do it in. If it was
appliances
because neighbors would probably think, oh, they're doing a remodel.
Yeah,
maybe
somebody
like
walks
that.
out with a kitchen sink and puts it in a car. Probably some 1980 Honda.
If you act like you know what you're doing, and you do it, it's incredible what you can get away with. I'm sure it was, a couple of guys in an old pickup truck pulled up and said, hey, we're doing a remodel. We're just taking stuff. And nobody even called the cops. So
True.
That's all it takes.
Okay.
Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay, we'll let James go next.
So, in China, they sentenced a woman to death for a $16 million scam.
That's a pretty good scam.
Good reason to die.
A 30-year-old Chinese woman was sentenced to death by a court in Wenzhou for cheating investors of 100.11 million won, which equals out to $16 million.
That's a Bernie Madoff style scam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that just insane?
That's incredible.
But the thing that really confuses me is, why is this a death sentence?
They're strict.
Well,
they must
China
be.
doesn't mess around. I mean,
no, they don't.
Unfortunately, they're known for putting people to death for just saying they don't like China.
Yeah.
So,
well, what this woman had done was through January and October of 2010, she promised to buy equipment, invest in property, and open credit guarantee firms. But instead, she used the cash to speculate in futures and gold trading along with her brother, who is still at large. So they caught her, and she served 2 years before being sentenced to death. So they locked her up, and then a few years later, they actually decide to sentence her to death.
Wow.
Now, the Supreme Court is reviewing another case by a woman of Wu Ying, who was sentenced to death by a local court for illegally raising 770 million won in funds.
Wow.
Did it say what she did?
No, it doesn't say. It was another scam thing that was worked out. But is it that easy to produce scams in China?
I guess so.
But you know what P.T.
I mean,
Barnum
I don't know.
said?
You know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
770. Okay, think about this though. 100 million won equals out to about 16 million. Think about how much the other one was. That's like probably $60 million that this other lady did.
Well, you know what P.T. Barnum always said?
Why don't you just take the money and run? You know? I mean, seriously.
Because people get greedy.
Well, where are you going to cash 700 million won? I mean,
same thing with Bernie Madoff. He figured he would die. He was going to die before they found out the scam. It just he
True.
didn't die
Yeah,
soon
but
enough.
when you reach a certain million, you got to think, I got enough.
That's enough. I can get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
well, the only thing is like once you, because you know,
Flee to Canada.
well, you know, the only thing is, you know, once they have this much, like I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more. I mean, this is a greed factor.
Oh, it
here.
is.
It
It's
is.
100%
It
greed
is.
factor.
You
And
know,
you're
and the,
absolutely right.
and the P.T. Barnum, you know, and the fool and their money are soon parted. People see, oh, this is a guaranteed. This is better than a blue chip stock.
Yeah. Well,
So I can totally see the greed factor there.
Well, I think what's happening in China is they're emerging as a developing country, and people have money that they want to invest and grow, and so they're easy targets.
well, I'm not thinking it's just that they're developing in that type of country. They're becoming a superpower on their own. They
Well,
really are.
I think the other part is they're not used to having so much freedom too. I think if you're not used to having all this ability to do what you want so
Right.
much legally,
Right.
I think they just don't know what to do.
Yeah. I think there's some of that too.
I mean, this is like early 19th, 20th century America here, when you had people just throwing money and hoping that it would work without any sort of understanding how the thing worked. Like what happened to the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
interesting though that as far as her being put to death for this, I'm
well,
going to hold my judgment on that one.
One of the
but-
things that they said at the end of the story is in China, a sentence of jail time and death usually means the punishment will be reduced to life in prison. So there is that possibility, but I do know China executes, so you never know.
I figured
yeah.
I figured 2 years in a Chinese jail is like a life sentence in America.
I don't know.
Well, see, I don't know.
'Cause I doubt that-
haven't seen any things portraying what life in
I
Chinese prisons
I
are.
highly doubt
the
it's
only
too-
things I've ever seen are the old work camps, but that was early 19th century.
I highly doubt
Right.
it's 3 squares in the TV.
Yeah, I
Or
doubt
2
that. You
squares in
never
the
know.
Arizona prison.
It's going to be a lot nicer. It's going to be a lot worse than American prisons for sure.
I'm just saying it's between an Iranian jail and a Chinese jail. You know, I highly doubt any of them are as good as America.
I think we treat our criminals way too nice, but I don't think we need to go the extreme of
I don't want to be in any jail. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to be in any jail, but if I'm going to be in a jail, I'd prefer an American prison over.
Oh, come on,
any
you
jail.
know you're too pretty to be in
Well,
jail.
American or Canadian.
Well, even
I mean, they have an open door policy. In
I would,
Canada.
It's
I
an
would
it's an
assume that
apologetic
most of the
prison.
Western states.
Would you mind coming back, eh?
Hey,
I'm sorry, in here, eh? What a bunch of Hoosers.
Okay, enough picking on Canada. They probably do have pretty mean prisons. You never know.
no,
They don't have any guns. Eh?
They're getting their guns back. Do you know what's happening in Canada? You know they've had long gun registration.
Yeah, they
for,
just that's
They're going the other way. Our stupid ass country's going to more restrictive laws. Canada's going the other way. It's just amazing.
Never
It's
thought
kinda
I wanted to
Yeah,
go to
like
Canada.
they give you a gun with your alcohol.
unreal.
Here's your beer, but you have to take a gun with it.
Yeah.
There's a
Have a
moose.
good day, eh?
You know, finally something to follow Canada in.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of these stupid ass
Canada's
gun
coming
laws.
back from
and-
the socialist, the extreme socialist, back to
yeah.
a Republican, or Democratic,
more conservative.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
conservative
right.
type thing. But
But you know America's standard. Go big or go home.
yeah, but back to the story we were just discussing. I think it's just extreme. I like the fact that they're actually punishing harshly for that extreme fraud. I do enjoy that. It's better than what we've done.
But you think
Which is
execution?
we bail out these guys, and then we're like, oh wait, you did break the law.
But
Would
execution
you
is.
mind paying us
don't you
back
think-
in taxes?
Don't you think execution's a little harsh though?
I do. I'm saying that it should be somewhere in between.
The punishment should fit the crime.
Exactly. The punishment should fit the crime. I mean, if you kill somebody in the midst of your fraud, death sentence is appropriate. If you don't, then I'm saying that you should at least have life or get to something where you're working to pay off that 16
I'm going to throw this out at you and let's see what you think. Many of the Asian countries, your persona, who you are, your being, if you're disgraced in any manner, they've been known to commit suicide. And
Harry Carey.
It would not be surprising that in this situation that there were investors that lost everything that they had in China.
Yeah.
They lost everything and may have, committed suicide or who knows.
Seppuku or something.
Yeah.
Well, you just don't
China
know.
wouldn't be seppuku.
Yeah, no, that's
Close
Japan.
enough.
But no, you got to look further. How did she affect the lives of all these people? she
That's a good
defrauded?
point. I never
That's
thought
very
about
true.
that.
Yeah.
I never thought about that at all.
Yeah, so my guess is that's why the punishment is so severe.
That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought about that far. But that's a great point because not only has she disgraced herself and her family, but she's also disgraced many, many families who trusted
her. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a trust issue there too. That you're right. There's probably many because a lot of it's on the male figures who trusted a woman who obviously defrauded them.
Right.
So that's got to come into the disgrace too because they don't look as in China.
I don't know enough about to say
they
that.
haven't gotten as far as we have with women lib as China has. I know that.
Well,
any of the Asian countries aren't into women lib that much.
Women's rights. Right.
Like suffrage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you're right. There is probably a big disgrace factor that's played into that.
Yeah, that's my guess. I mean,
so I don't know if they didn't say in there.
Yeah, I know.
Of the investors,
we don't have all the
details.
details.
And they probably won't because there's about $16 million. So there's a lot
of people
in there. So
I wonder. I mean, not knowing really anybody from China, I wonder if the skepticism about people, because I think one of the thing about at least Western culture, maybe America, is somebody says I have an easy scam, easier way to make money. Most people are extremely like, okay, I think most people are skeptical about easy, money making schemes. Things that say, you give us $1, we'll give you $2.
Right.
I don't know a whole lot of people that will fall for that. Unless you're older or younger. I think there's a built-in skepticism within American society about making money.
Probably, but there's still people that are scammed every day, so I don't know if I agree totally with that, but it may be more so in a country like China where this is all new.
Well, usually the money-making scheme is some Arabian prince who wants to give you $15 million.
I get enough of those emails. I must be really wealthy. Hey, you have won $100 million. Just give me all your banking information. Yeah.
Yeah, or that old one where it was like, has your credit card been frauded or anything? Here, put your credit card number in here.
Give me your credit card
and
number.
find out.
I'll fix it for you. No problems.
Exactly.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That one's a great one.
It's just like the I love you virus. I love you. Open spam.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical about opening any attachments. I mean, to the point where I got this attachment and I looked at it for a minute and I almost opened it up and I'm going, okay, who's sending this to me? And it says it's titled from HP, Hewlett Packard, right?
No,
and I look at it and I go, okay, we have an issue with one of the computers up at the gun range that we're using there that the touch monitor is going bad and it's an HP. And I thought, oh, maybe this is a return authorization or something, and I almost opened it, and then I looked at it and I said, no, they wouldn't do that. So listen, folks out there, be skeptical of what you're opening, just if it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Don't fund somebody else's bank account.
Right.
It's rule 1 for computer security: just don't accept attachments ever.
Well, but there are some, I send out a lot of attachments, so hopefully they don't take that scorched earth policy that Jonathan says no attachments because
the only thing is you really have to trust the person, because it's the same thing. Somebody could send you, they could get a virus or some sort of spam, like the I love you virus happened in the mid 90s or early 2000s. Click on it, it spammed everybody their address book, and it was just a continuating cycle.
True.
I mean, so you have to be really skeptical.
But things are better now. Security software is better now. There's a lot, but you're right. You need to be skeptical.
Well, you have to be cautious because every time a security upgrade comes in, the hackers get smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they will work around it.
there's viruses that turn off your antivirus.
Yes, there are.
So what's your story?
Yeah, let's see what your story is.
But you guys' stories were boring. I got one here.
Hey, come on. I thought my Anva was good.
Come on, I got a
one
woman
here.
dying for my stories.
This is the old. Yeah, that's true.
Somebody stole a kitchen sink on
Listen,
mine.
yeah, that's right. Well, here, this old guy is going to tell you, make all us men out there, all you guys out there watching the thing, we're all going to go, yeah, on this one. So the headlines read, hey, thank you, Smoking Gun, by the way. The headlines read, ex-girlfriend busted for brutal scrotum attack. Get this the headlines long.
Brutal scrotum attack.
That's
I'm
right. Here we
impressed
go.
you even got that straight.
It's hard to say, too. April 5.
It's like read, write, web.
An Indiana man had his scrotum severely torn when his off-again, on-again girlfriend entered his home and pummeled him in an attack that resulted in the woman's arrest on several criminal charges, including 2 felonies. Christina Reber, 43, was freed from jail yesterday after posting $10,000 bond in connection with a bust for the attack
Don't say
last
bust.
Friday in the house of her ex-beau, who told cops he had ended the couple's 8-month relationship days before the assault. The victim, 57, told police that he was working at his computer when Ruber, pictured in the adjacent mugshot, you can't see it, but I can.
Is she a handsome woman?
No, she looks like she's been rode hard, put away wet.
Like I said, a handsome woman.
Yeah, So
I'm going to be quiet.
First struck him repeatedly in the head before latching onto his scrotum and squeezing as hard as she could. The man interviewed by police at the hospital emergency room said that he was in incredible pain when she grabbed his scrotum and began digging in with her fingers.
You think he would have done something? I mean, if some chick does that's open rules to hurt her.
Okay, does this say why?
Oh,
I mean, was he looking at porn?
Well, first of all, obviously he was naked looking at his computer. You tell me what he was doing.
Well, come on.
How many times you sit naked in front of your computer?
He could have just.
I can count them all on a big old zero.
How about never? Yeah.
Well, he has a laptop. It's a little more.
I have a laptop, but that still counts as a big old zero.
Well, he could have just gotten in the shower, gotten out of the shower, went to check his email before getting dressed.
You're trying to be nice, but I don't know
you're trying to make
that.
excuses for a scrotum.
They couldn't get this lady to let go, and then finally, when the ambulance showed up, a cop reported that the man had blood on his shirt and a long, wide tear on his scrotum.
Ooh. I don't understand you're at a desk. There's got to be some sort of sharp object.
Ugh. Anyway, I wanted to share that story. Now, that's a funny story. You got to admit, I came up with a good one.
That's not a funny story. That's a cross your legs story.
So there's a lesson for all you guys out there.
Okay, question.
I have
death penalty.
Oh, we have to. All right, let's go. John, you first.
I'm thinking death penalty.
Okay. So John thinks scrotum tearing is death penalty. And James?
Scrotum tearing is worth like $16 million.
I'm thinking that's an equal offense.
My big thing is...
Oh, you got a big thing, huh? Okay, 4 words. Try again.
Strike 1.
Here we go. So, take 2.
Okay, my issue
Okay.
with this story is $10,000 bail.
I know.
Really?
Must have been a
2
female judge.
felonies
Oh my
plus-
God! Did I say
plus
that out loud?
misdemeanors?
I'm sorry.
Wait, that was 2 felonies?
He said 2 felonies
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
other charges
Oh, yeah.
pending, so misdemeanors charges.
$10,000 doesn't seem near enough.
That's assault, attempt to the bodily injury.
Right. My God,
Probably resisting arrest because she didn't want to let go.
I don't know. I mean, that's about as bad an attack.
See, I think you should throw attempted rape in there.
Well,
I mean, there's also...
had it been a man, had it been the other way around, in all honesty, it would have been $100,000.
Well, it would have been rape. He would have been a sex offender.
Well, $10,000. Yeah.
I mean, $10,000 is not,
That's pocket change.
That's nothing.
I mean, for bail goes.
Yeah, that's nothing.
I
am
mean,
surprised it's that
they
low.
released her.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other issues involved with that as well. I mean, she obviously... This was a planned attack. I mean, you don't just bust into somebody's house and start beating the dude without thinking that you're going to beat him beforehand.
I know it could have been something that she was just super emotional. I mean, and went out and flipped out. I mean, I know women who can't control their emotions.
Period?
Sure, why not? I'm saying.
I didn't say that, folks.
John was hinting it.
I didn't say it.
I wasn't even hinting. I'm saying she could have just flipped out.
We know we have the medical description PMS, right?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe that was the case. She was PMSing that day. Is that more politically correct? I don't know.
The old guy right there, he said it, not me.
Send me an email, ladies out there. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's
I don't
a
know.
lot of more I can go with here.
You may have all felt like doing that at some time, but please don't.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, you're the one getting married. So.
If you bust in on some guy naked in front of his computer watching porn or something, obviously that's what we're suggesting.
First thing,
here.
wear gloves.
Yeah, the whole thing was bad. Isn't it?
But $10,000 bail, that just does not seem right, especially with the amount of charges that she has pending on.
It seems off the law.
I mean, just the amount of injury. I mean, it should have been something bigger than $10,000.
And you know what? They can adjust that bail. It depends.
Well,
maybe she's not a flight risk. I don't know.
Well,
I
here's
don't
the
know why
thing.
it's so low.
She physically injured somebody. I mean, you think she would be the chance of her going back? You think she would have been endangered the community? Because she
that's
could
what I'm saying.
She could have definitely gone back and then physically harmed him more.
Well, obviously
Well, I'm hoping he has cops around his hospital bed.
Something I don't know.
Or a cup on.
Well, it's you know what? It's a very severe attack. You know, all joking aside, I have to say I think a $10,000 bail is way too low in this situation. From the description of the injuries, she almost tore his scrotum off.
Which could kill somebody.
Absolutely, could easily bleed to death.
Yeah.
So I'm saying she should have been stuck in jail until the trial, because she definitely could have done it to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, all criminals, no matter who they are, have a right to post bail if the judge is able to.
Yeah,
I mean, there are certain flight risk, obviously,
right?
But no matter what your no matter what your situation is, there is an ability to post bail. I mean, but it should have been out of her price range. It should have been something that was drastic enough to where she had to sit in jail for longer than she obviously did.
That was assault, though. I don't see, especially if it was a guy, I don't see them letting the guy go.
I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't think it was.
I think this was
not
sexism.
Treating this woman like it was a man. It had been a man attacking a woman and
with a scrotum.
No. Let's say he latches onto one of her breasts and injures her greatly in that manner. A guy wouldn't be facing only a $10,000.
Oh no,
bail.
it would.
It would never happen.
He'd be an assault, sex offender. You name it. This guy's life would be ruined.
Remanded and probably not have bail.
I mean, obviously, this guy wasn't smart enough to protect himself in some fashion. I mean,
well, we don't know.
If
maybe
some
the guy
woman's
was
going to try to rip my scrotum
off,
off, I'm going to injure her.
Yeah,
I agree.
In a bad way.
I mean, there's a couple of areas that he could have definitely hurt her if she was that close. This guy just used poor judgment.
We don't know the factors, although. I think maybe I know as much about this as I want to know.
Maybe he thought that she was coming in for a booty call or something, and he's like, "Hey," and then all of a sudden he's
to quote
on
some
the ground bleeding.
To quote some friends of mine, "Don't stick it in crazy." Rule 1.
Wow.
So, do we have any more stories, or do we end on that one?
I think that's what we're going to end on.
We're going to end on
that's all John's fault. Send all your emails to John.
It's all John.
No, that's my superpower working.
Yeah, make sure
all
it's John at VOGT.tv for John, and we'll make sure you get all the letters. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. It's your turn.
You're welcome.
Hey, listen, everybody. I want to thank you. It's Rob Charney for Old Guy Tech TV, James Stevens, Jonathan Charney. I hope you had a little bit of laughs like we did. We had a good time. We'll see you next. This episode of Old Guy Tech TV is brought to you by Ward's Automotive, specializing in Banks Power and Pack Brake, servicing your car or truck and specializing in diesel engines. Over 30 years of service, located in Diamond Springs, California. Give them a call at 530-626-5588.